Well, this morning, the National Guard is moving into Ferguson, Missouri as the protests and the riots continue to be out of control. This just in this morning, at least 80 people have been arrested in and around Ferguson. Crystal?
And also, there are reports that more than 100 gunshots were fired overnight. However, the police from there say not one of their officers fired one of those shots. This is all over a grand jury's decision not to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown. Throughout the night and into the morning hours, police have been dealing with this. Looters in several buildings caught on fire as the chaos there continues. Daniel Nottingham has more from Ferguson, Missouri.
Protesters marched into the early hours. Demonstrations spiraled out of control and turned violent. At least a dozen buildings were set on fire. Businesses looted, windows broken, and hundreds of gunshots were heard.
What I've seen tonight is probably much worse than the worst night we ever had in August.
Police hurled tear gas into crowds. Some demonstrators taunted authorities and set fire to police cars.
The police brought it on themselves. They have an aggressive stance.
The rioting quickly spread here to West Florissant, where protesters set businesses on fire.
Following the decision, prosecutors released documents reviewed by the 12 jurors, including images and testimony by Officer Wilson. Wilson says he shot a series of rounds at Brown during the August 9th confrontation, which began while he was still in his squad car. Wilson said, "His hands were inside on me, and he entered my vehicle with his hands, arms, and his head, assaulting me." Police continue to urge protesters to demonstrate peacefully.
Change is created through our voice and not through destruction of our community.
Brown's mother broke down among protesters following the decision. Even in her anger, she urged protesters not to combat violence with violence. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Ferguson, Missouri.
And we have full coverage of the Ferguson decision online at KRQE.com. There you can find story details, a photo gallery of the protest, and a timeline of events that have happened in this case. And protesters around the nation have taken to the streets in anger over the jury's decision in Ferguson. Hundreds gathered in front of the White House in Washington, D.C. Similar sight in Chicago. In Denver, people sat in the street blocking traffic. Tensions boiled over in Seattle, where police used pepper spray in a brief clash with protesters. More than 100 rallies are already planned for the next few days across the U.S. and in Canada.